Free for all Fridays, guys, coming at you. It is Daywalker Cards. We decided for today to bring back an old school format, but do it in voice form. So, for those of you that's been around card games for 20, 30 years now, you remember how on Pojo or Duelist Grounds or many of the other Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. There's lots of old forums out there. People would do tournament reports. So I decided, I want to do that old school tournament report. I don't think I've done one of these in like 8 or 9 years. I think when I topped the Hong Kong Nationals for Yu-Gi-Oh, well, sort of Nationals is however they want to call it, got the top 32 on that. I think it's the last time I ever wrote one of those, and that was years and years ago. So I decided, hey, let's bring back that format. We're going to do an old school tournament report starting from the Friday before, or maybe building up to it all the way through the Liverpool regionals until my return. So let's start things off with how I practiced for this event, how I decided on a deck. So for this event, the only deck I really practiced was Snorlax. I did a decent amount of games with Snorlax. I played it in an online tournament, etc. And that tournament is what made me realize I don't want to play Snorlax at Liverpool. So it was the only deck I'd practiced, and I realized I don't want to play it. I don't want to deal with other people for 9 rounds trying to slow play or force the game into a tie or etc. This is just not something I wanted to deal with. So the only deck I owned in real life, minus like 3 or 4 cards, was Giratina. So I was like, hey, anybody got, I think I needed like a Path to the Peak, 4 Jet Energies to play the deck. Got those, built the deck, and yeah, I tested it one night online versus Scout's Daddy. I believe that video is online. And that was the first time I'd played Tina in 2 years. And the last time I played it, I was playing Arceus Tina. So I'd never entered a tournament with Lost Zone Tina before. And figured, hey, why not? We'll go to the tournament. My expectations were very low. I figured we go to the tournament, 0-3 drop, hit up the all you can eat afterwards, chill with the boys, because we were all assuming we were all going to do bad for this event. We had a few people that thinking they were going to do good, but our core group was like, yeah, we're just going to chill, we'll play some games, and that'll be that. So I built the deck, had it all ready to go, and then the night before my flight to Liverpool, I ended up going to bed pretty early, but I woke up at like 3 in the morning, thinking I had slept through my alarms. So I ended up waking up at 3 a.m., like an hour and a half before my alarms were even supposed to go off. And then, I just bullshitted for a little while, wasted some time, got ready, and then finally left around 5:30, something like that, because that is when the first bus of the morning is, and I needed to get to the airport with enough time to take to the train station with enough time to get to the airport so I do not miss my flight. So it's one of those, I took the very first bus of the morning, 5:30 a.m. And yeah, it was a pretty quick journey overall. Because it was so early in the morning, there was no real traffic, and we got to the train station faster than I ever could have hoped for. And that's when I discovered that the train station has construction going on for the bus area, and I was like, oh God, coming back is going to be a total pain in the butt. So, we're going to talk a little about that. Let's talk about the part of the journey that players normally don't talk about, the actual journey. You know what I mean? They're always, oh, here's how I did at the tournament. Here's the tournament. Well, how did you get to the tournament, So a flight over there, Scout's Daddy sponsored the flight. So, I didn't pay for my actual plane ticket. Team Scout's Daddy, shout outs to that. Sponsored the flight so I could come hang out with the boys. And it was, I think, a 10:30 in the morning flight, something like that. But I live quite far from the airport. That's why I had to leave so early in the morning. So my day started off really, really early, 3:30 in the morning. As I said, I woke up in a panic thinking, oh God, I just overslept when I didn't. We get to the train station, record time. I end up walking over and paying for the shuttle bus instead of taking the train and the bus, which is slightly cheaper. But I went for it's okay, I'll just give them the €7, whatever it is. Get to the airport, chill there. No worries. Don't have to worry about anything. So that's exactly what I did. You'll see it in the video here. And it was fine. We got to the airport pretty early actually. I actually got to the shuttle right before the shuttle was about to leave, so it was all very convenient. The timing on everything Friday worked out perfectly. So maybe that was the a good sign that the weekend was going to be a good weekend, right? So we get there. I get to Manchester. Sorry, because my flight was into Manchester, and I got to get to the airport. From the airport to Liverpool, and that became a bit of an issue. I've done this journey many times as I used to live there, and I've made this flight maybe 6 or 7 or 8 times now, not including the times I've flown to other places and flown back to the airport. So I know how it works. That's not the issue. It's just the UK trains are famous for being delayed, and that's exactly what happened. My train, I ended up getting to Liverpool like 4 in the afternoon, something like that, and my plane arrived at noon. Like it's about a 1 hour, 20-minute journey, and it took me damn near 3.5 hours, which was how long my flight was. So it kind of sucked, like getting there. The actual journey to Liverpool was not fun, and they have a delay repay scheme. I could technically file for that and try to get my money back for the train being delayed so much. But it is what it is. Like the power line went down. A lot of trains got canceled. I'm just happy I was able to get that train to Oxford Road in Manchester and then swap over. I helped the Italian people that were hanging out also figure out how to get there. They kind of had tickets already, but most of the trains, like I said, had been canceled. So I was like, just stick with me. I'll get you there, and you can take that next train. And sure enough, they were able to catch that train as well. So it starts off, I finally get to Liverpool, like I said, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 4 hours like after my flight arrived. And Scouse Daddy meets me at the train station. Then we walk over to Crit Hit. This was my first time going to Crit Hit in person. The store overall it's okay, it could use a little TLC. I'll say that. They are doing a league challenge on that Friday, but I decided not to play because I just didn't care. Like, I didn't have high hopes going into the weekend. I wasn't planning on playing out the entire 15 rounds, and I thought, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't need the points. I don't care about the league challenge. I'll let people who want points play in the league challenge. So we were just there sitting around chilling, using the bathroom, etc. after lots of long journeys, as you do. And a guy, I guess maybe he saw the post online or something, or saw the challenge posted on the Pokemon website. He was a player from Italy, but he was from northern Italy, so he's not a player that I had known or seen before. And he asked, did I want to play? And sure, why not, right? So this was my first in real life game of Pokemon in like 2 years. And I'm like sitting there shuffling. I'm like, oh yeah, this is how I set up, right? Because I've been doing the automated on live. I hadn't set up an actual game in quite a minute. So shout outs to that guy. He was on Charizard. I won the very first game, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I still can play. Maybe I'm not as bad as I thought I was. And then game 2 and 3, he won those games, but I was interrupted both of those games both times. Like during my turn, I kept getting interrupted because more important people were showing up, and they're freaking out to see me, running up, yelling stuff at me when they walk in the door, one of those situations. So shout outs to that guy. I won that first game. He won the other 2. It's cool. So I was like, that's probably how this weekend's going to go. I'm going to win a game and lose 2, something like that. But that's ultimately not what happened. So it gets kind of late. We're chilling at Crit for a while. The challenge is going on, and we eventually just decide, hey, let's just leave. So we head back to Scouse Daddy's place. We stop by, get some Mickey D's on the way, get that 20-piece nugget. You know what I'm saying? So we get back there. John's like, I haven't even built a deck yet. Maybe I'll just play Lugia. Because he didn't care either. He just wanted to hang with the boys, just have a fun weekend. We just signed up, get the play mats, come inside, get the little door prizes. And if we do okay, we do okay. Just something to talk about, something to bring everybody together. And yeah, so we're sitting over at his house. I help him build Lugia. I type the entire list for him on RK9. We eat some chicken nuggies. We play with a dog for a little while, you know. His roommates have a dog, so I got to play with the dog. Really love dogs. So that was cool. The dog's super weird. It was a super needy dog, but you know, shout outs to Chester the dog, not Chester the little boy. All right, so we play nothing. So yeah, he heads out because I was staying at his house, but he was staying somewhere else that night for other reasons that we're not gonna get into because we're all consensual adults here, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So he heads out, and basically it's just me at his house Friday night. I shower, go to bed, I wake up, and I'm like, cool, now I guess I have to figure out how to play Pokemon again or whatever. It was like, oh, 03 drop, it's fine. So we head to the convention center. We get there. I'm like, oh god, the line's kind of long. And lo and behold, no, the line was not long when I got there. The line was long after I got there. We got about halfway up, and then we saw the line was wrapped around the building next to us, around the arena, all the way around the backside. And we were just like, oh god, I guess we got here at the perfect time. So shout outs to Beth giving us a ride on that. And John is nowhere to be seen. Like, Scout's daddy is just not there. We're messaging him, don't hear anything from him. And we're just like, okay, I guess whatever. He's not going to show up, you know? So came to chill, and then he wasn't even there. So, yeah, so we start playing some Pokemon. That's the best I can say. We go into the huge giant room. Pretty impressive. It's not the largest tournament I've ever been to, but it's the largest Pokemon tournament I've ever been to for sure, because I've never gone to like EUIC or Worlds or anything like that. So the largest Pokemon tournament I've ever gone to, and it was pretty incredible seeing all the players there, all the diversity of people. But I will say the difference between trading card game events in Europe and trading card game events in America is, man, the European events are so white. There are so many white people. Good grief. All right, so never seen so many white people in one place in my life. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a bad thing, but anyways, yeah, we're chilling. The rounds finally start, and there's no internet. Like, it says, oh, check your pairings on RK9. Well, we couldn't. The Wi-Fi was just too many people. Could not connect to the Wi-Fi, so we have to talk to a judge. The judge gives us our table number, and finally go and sit down so I can play some Pokemon. So, yeah. So that was fun, you know, struggling to even find out where I'm supposed to be at to even play the game. You know, it's not great. But it worked out in the end. I think by round 3, they paid for more Wi-Fi. So we were able to get this other Wi-Fi going and connected. And it worked the entire weekend. So that's cool. So I kind of already went through the tournament report itself, like my matches, in the video on Wednesday. So I'm not going to go too in-depth about any of those. Just know I did start off with a loss. And I was like, aw, sweet. Yeah, baby, let's go 0-3 drop. And the one thing I remember specifically about the entire weekend is every single person I played day one, I told them to beat me. I said, please beat me. I want this to be over with. I want to be disappointed now rather than being disappointed during round 9. I don't want to spend the entire day just to be disappointed. If I'm going to lose, let me lose early. And, well, that just did not happen. I lost round 1. I won round 2 versus Rapid Strike. I won round 3 versus Rapid Strike. And then I won round 4 versus Miraidon, which at first I thought I was going to lose that one. And then I just came back and won it all because Miraidon's not a very good deck, to be honest. The Iron Hands is cool and all, but once you take control, that deck struggles. And then I played against Charizard, which gave me my first loss after round 1. So my second loss of the day, my first loss to Zard. So I lost to Guardian Zard. The Guardian match, 48 minutes. We only played one game. I mean, what can you do? Like, both of us were on the verge of winning that game. And it just so happened he drew what he needed and won. I think the same thing actually happened in the round 5. Like, he had to draw boss for game. Like, I rock sand him and did some paft or something like that. And his only way to win was boss. And the very top card on his deck was boss to win game 3 and shut it out. So, it is what it is. So it's cool, though. He won. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm 0-2. I lose this next round. We're done. We can leave. We can leave at the end of round 6. We still have time for dinner. We have time to go and have some fun. And then I win. And then I win again. And then I win again. And then I'm like, oh, I think I'm about to day 2. I just need to draw if I day 2. And I'm like, well, at this point, I kind of want it now. Like, but also in the back of my head is like, watch, this is what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to spend the entire day playing Pokemon just to be disappointed in the final round. I get paired against someone who cannot take the draw. He cannot draw. He has to win the match. Unfortunately for him, I win it 2-0. And so I head into day 2 with a 7-2 record. It is the best I've done solo at a Pokemon tournament as far as regionals go. And that's cool, it's fun. It's not my first day 2 ever, but it's my first day 2 for Pokemon. And then the next day starts, and sorry, and I don't want to skip to the next day. So John actually does join us around like 2 in the afternoon. He slept through all of his alarms, just did not get up. So yeah, I don't see Scout's Daddy until like 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. And at that point, he's cheering for me to lose as well because he wants it to be over with so we can just go and do other stuff. But I'm winning and I stay, and that's that. So we head into day 2, and this time John is back at the house and stuff. I leave him sleeping on the floor because he said he wasn't going to come in early. There was no reason. He was going to hit the gym and then come in. So I left him passed out on the floor. And again, I think we don't see him until like lunchtime. Like, he doesn't show up until like 12. And then he leaves again to go to a pub. So day 2 started with a win, then a loss, then a tie, then a win, then a loss, then a tie. So on day 2, I went 2, 2, and 2. So that was most unfortunate. I did get top 64 out of it. However, it was just, it sucks because now I played 15 rounds just to head into top 64 and not get too much. 18 packs. I played 15 plus hours of Pokemon for 18 packs. It's doesn't feel great. You know what I mean? I guess it could have been worse, though. Like, I could have lost the final round and then got nothing. So I am grateful for those 18 packs. But again, it's just one of those situations I wanted to not waste the entire weekend just playing Pokemon. The trip wasn't really about playing Pokemon from the start. Pokemon was just the vessel of which we gathered around in order to hang out. It was just an excuse for us to get together and chill with each other, that kind of thing. So, excuse me. For the weekend, though, overall, I rate the regional itself like a solid 7 out of 10. It ran pretty smoothly after they got the Wi-Fi going, even with the huge crowded room and stuff. The venue is kind of expensive, though. I paid like £2.50 for a can of water. This is before I found out that there was free water, like in a specific place. It wasn't like spread out throughout the room. There was like one spot you could go to get water. And yeah, I didn't know that. I spent like £2.50, which is for Americans. It's like $3 for just a small, I think it was not even a 16-ounce can. It was a small little can. I'll post a picture of the can. And yeah, so that's cool. We hung out some, like Friday night. We hung out at Crit. Saturday night, we hung out after the day 2. We all went to the pub together, and then we went out for food, and we ended up going to a place right next to the convention center because I couldn't really walk. I don't know. I should have started the story with that. So leading up to the tournament, I had a gout attack because I'm an old man and I have gout. And it was just really unfortunate timing. And like, I could barely move my left foot. It was really, really swollen and it hurt because I don't get gout in my toes. I get it right in the middle of my foot. So it kind of makes my foot feel like it's broken and I just can't bend it. But whatever, that kind of passes Friday, Saturday. And, I'm still limping on Saturday, and I was just totally exhausted, mentally fatigued, physically fatigued. Hadn't had as much sleep as you'd hope for with as much travel as I did. But we finally went to a pub, and before the pub, I finally got a cheese and onion sandwich. I had been searching everywhere for a cheese and onion sandwich. Every time I went into a shop on Friday to try and get one, they didn't have it. I am a big fan of the cheese and onion sandwich, and living in Italy, cheddar cheese is not so common, so it's not like I could just make this myself. It is something I became fond of while living in the UK, and those are those cheese and onions. I got a ready meal, I believe, from Tesco. Yes, I got the Tesco ready meal with the cheese and onion on Friday night before the pub, and I was still absolutely starving after the pub, so we headed out to an Indian place and got some food, and I ended up filling up on drinks before the food got there because the food took so long that the curry arrived and I ate like 4 pieces of it, and I was like, I'm done, like I'm tapped out. So I ended up getting that to go. So that was our eventful Saturday night. And then Sunday, everything that happened on Sunday besides playing Pokemon, I finally had enough free time to walk around the event center. So I walked around the event center. I checked out the different things. I saw how they had the video game section set up. I had not even walked over there at any point. Pokemon Go this year, they had set up access points around the tables, which was really good because last year Scouse Daddy did Pokemon Go and he lost because of connection issues. On his screen, he was still battling, and his opponent had already won the match on his opponent's screen. So it's good they put those access points out there. I don't know if it improved anything at all, but really cool nonetheless that they're trying to make those improvements. So we had a little fun. We went to the photo booth, took some pics. Me and Callum took some pictures. I took a picture with my boy Gyarados. John finally got back his PSA stuff. I'll post the little video of John's PSA cards. You guys should get a kick out of this. In case you didn't know, Scouse Daddy got some cards. All right, so Sunday was finally coming to an end. We gathered up everybody. It was like 14 of us, I think, by the end, from the crit crew plus our core group, and we headed out finally to the buffet, the one I didn't get to go to the day before because I just kept winning. So we hit the buffet, we get a bunch of food. John makes an atrocious looking crepe thing, or crepe, however you want to pronounce it. Wasn't great. I don't even think he ate it. He just wanted it for the picture. We'll post pictures of the food from the buffet. It wasn't the greatest buffet in the world, but it would definitely hit the spot. You know what I mean? So much happened during this weekend, and we went back. I think John ended up passing out on the sofa like 30 minutes after we got there. We were talking 1 second, the next second he was snoring, and that's that. So we do all that. We play with the dog some more. The dog was a big attention whore, really loved attention. And then I still had 1 full day in the UK because my flight back was Tuesday. Because the flight back on Monday was really early in the morning, and I did not want to pay for a hotel over by the airport, because from Liverpool to there, it's just impossible without paying a really expensive taxi fee or paying for a hotel. So stayed 1 more day in Liverpool, did a little shopping, hung out with John after work. We hit up the Popeyes. So me and him went to Popeyes. I will say the biscuits were just as good as America. However, everything else was a little lackluster. Unfortunate, So we hit up the Popeyes. We ate that. We hit the Dunkin' Donuts. John destroyed some donuts. Little gout boy over here. I didn't really, indulge too much with all the sweets during the weekend. I mainly ate some fruit. Then we head back, we watched a little football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, play with the dog some more, and then lo and behold, Tuesday is here. We are heading out. I take my hour and a half hour and a half train back to the airport, walk over to the thing. I'm at the airport pretty early because I didn't want to get left, so I stopped. I'm in the UK. I'm like, you know what? Get these fish and chips. I love fish and chips, airport fish and chips, whatever. Should be good. As much as it cost me, it should be good. I'll say this, the fish was delicious. The chips, not so much. The mushy peas were weird. I did not eat them all. They kind of tasted like they had marijuana in them. It was strange. The fish was amazing, though. All right, so finally eat that. We're done. We're chilling. The weekend is finally over. I get on my flight. We fly back to Rome. I get back at like 8. And this is the part of the journey people don't want to talk about. I get back at like 8:30, just in time to miss the first shuttle bus back. So I have to wait 30 plus minutes for the next shuttle bus. I end up not leaving the airport until like 9:20, 9:30 because the guy wanted to wait for the bus to get full before it left. So we take that bus. I'm like, man, it's getting kind of late. I get to the train station. I'm like, okay, now I need to figure out where my stop is because they're doing all this construction. Find the stop. Not that big of an issue in the end. I had a good idea of where it was. I just kind of went where the bus dropped me off at last time and hoped that it was the starting stop as well. Turns out it was, but I stood there 45, 50, almost 1 full hour. So keep in mind, I landed at 8. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I am still not home. It had been like 2 hours of just traveling and waiting around. Finally, the bus comes. 30, 40 minutes later, I'm home. I sit on the sofa, and then I'll wake up, and it's the next morning. And, fun times. So there's a lot that goes into a regional that people don't want to talk about. The cost associated with it, the travel that it takes to get there. You know, it's something we all have to do, but not many people report on how the travel affected them. So overall, from where I live in Italy to Manchester to Liverpool, it was a few hours of travel. The flight's like 3 hours, but the time difference makes it a little bit better. And it was a good weekend. You know, we had fun. It was worth it, especially since I got that top 64 finish. So hopefully when you're planning your trip to the regional, you can take into account all the travel, all the things you're going to have to do if you're heading to a YCS, heading to a regional, heading to an internationals, heading to whatever, whatever card game you're playing, whatever you're enjoying in life. Just take a second to sit back and remember that you are going to be physically and mentally exhausted, and prepare for that as well. I've done this enough in my life that I know how tiring it is. In America, we used to sit in the car for hours and hours and hours on end traveling to these events, and then you get out and your legs are all cramped up. But hey, at least then you had a car. But over here, it's a little different. We don't have that car because the places are smaller. We're traveling, cheapest flight, Ryanairing it up. And it's all things that need to be taken into consideration. Factors that, what if there's a strike? Then you got to wait even longer. You got to hope something happens. Replacement bus shuttles, etc. Just know where you're trying to go and know how to get there. Don't be that guy that just wings it like me, unless you've done the trip before. So overall, the trip was very fun. It was a great time. Met a lot of cool people in Liverpool. Played a lot of good games of Pokemon. Some reason the deck just snapped for me this weekend. I saw all the plays I needed to make. And, I had a great time. We hung out with the boys. Me and John hung out. He's coming here soon, so we might do some more videos of me and John in person when he comes. Maybe some pack openings. Maybe we'll go to a cup. There is a cup when he's here. So look forward to that, guys. And if you want to know more about, what it's really like going to these Pokemon tournaments, what else is there besides just playing the card game? What other factors should I consider? Make sure you comment below. Subscribe, follow, like, tweet, whatever, Just communicate with me. We can talk about it. I'm an open book. I'll share with you the journey. And I hope you have as much success on that journey as I had in mine. I didn't get that top 32, didn't win the $1,000, but you know what? I went into the tournament expecting an 0-3 drop, and I left with 50 points that I stole from someone else because I'm not going to Worlds, 18 packs, and a lot of great memories. So thanks, guys, for listening, and I'll catch you next time.